Oh my gosh. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joleen's Happy Time Craftcast. I'm Joleen, and it is lovely to be with you on this week, the day before a holiday for lots of us. And I am, I use the word excited a lot, but I'm pretty excited to be with you today because I've kind of taken the week off from work. I mean, like, sort of, as much as I can, I guess, because for many of you, I'm sure you already know that it just ended. Our retreat season just ended last weekend, and it was 11 in a row. And we went out with a bang. It was great. The last one was yoga, tarot, and art. And it was amazing. The women were amazing. The experience was amazing. The food was amazing. It was just such a high note. And I feel different though than I thought I was going to feel. I thought I was going to feel like this huge sense of relief, like, oh, we got through it and it's done. But honestly, I think I feel more like, maybe it's because it's a holiday this week and maybe we'll feel something next week. I'm not really sure. But I definitely feel grateful. I feel grateful for the experience, for the whole season. Like, it was awesome. It was so great. I think I'm just maybe like still wrapping my head around what Darren and I just did. Like 11 weekends of hosting people like in a row. I think that's it. I think that's where I am. But anyway, enough about me. Let's talk about you. If you could give me a little hello in the comments because it's just you and me today. Our guest had something come up and we totally understand that absolutely happens. And so I have an idea. And Kathy Baker, I'm excited too. Hi, Keely. Hi, Keely. So what I decided to do instead is I decided I was going to share with you some of the Crafty books and resources that I use the most. And then also I have ideas for gifts for crafty people. And I also have ideas of ways that as artists we can just find inspiration. So I have them like kind of sorted into these three huge piles. And why don't we do this? Why don't we just get to it? So you might want to have a note open or some pens and paper and whatnot, because if you could see this stack, I have a huge stack, and let's just talk about it. All right. So I think I'm going to start first with two authors that I know pretty well, and how I feel about their work. So the first one is Creative Abstract Watercolor, and this is by Kate Rebecca Leech. Kate has been on the show, and she's darling and amazing, and she is from the UK. And this book, I've actually done quite a few of the exercises and techniques inside of this book, but she like gets you going with like a monochromatic color palette. And then her magic is adding gold and white and maybe even sometimes black. And so it makes you feel pretty successful pretty quickly. And it's this limited color palette idea and lines and blobs and swoops and leaving white space. And I've done like a lot of these, and I feel more advanced in my technique as a watercolor person than I have without it. So highly recommend. It's this one, Creative Abstract Watercolor. Kate Rebecca Leech. You can get this one on Amazon. You can also get it from her site. On social, she is Esoldo Design. I follow her. She follows me. She's pretty easy to find. But look at how stinking cute this stuff is. Like, so adorable. And she's such a great teacher, even in her steps. It's very step. Do this, do that, let it dry, do this, do that. Like, it's amazing. Love her. Highly recommend. 10 out of 10. And then, of course, my good friend, Lacy Walker. Lacy is Rebel Unicorn Crafts on social, and Lacy has just done such an amazing job with this book. I have 3 copies. I've given 2 as gifts, and I have 1 for myself. what's so magical about Lacy's book is that it's got watercolor paper inside it. And so practice right here, friends. Like, do what she says, give it a whirl. And what's really fun is my daughter Georgie has this one. And so, hi, Patty. Hi, Karen. And so when Georgie does one, she'll send me a photo and then we get to talk about like what she tried. So the paper is right here on this side of the book. And then the instructions are on this side of the book. And again, very detailed, very step by step. And it's fun stuff, you know, like birds and mountains and peaches and honeycomb and flowers. Like you will feel really successful when you give Lacy's book a try. So learn to watercolor. Lacy Walker of Rebel Unicorn Crafts. This is a beautiful gift because it has the paper in it. And so highly recommend. By a show, how many of you already have this one? I know this one has been all over social media. It comes up for me too when I'm on Amazon is like things you might like. And I'm like, okay, Bezos, I already have it like 3 times, but thank you. I appreciate that. Can't say enough good things about Lacy's Learn to Watercolor. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Okay. So in the watercolor space, I have a couple more ideas because I definitely identify as a beginner watercolorist. Like it is my goal to get better at doodling and watercolor in 2026. So here is another one that I like. This one is called The Big Book of Watercolor, and it is the must-have guide to painting, and it's 75 different sketch templates. So this one, look at this. It is like use this color of Windsor with this color of orange and it equals that. And then it kind of shows obviously the step-by-steps, but then also how you get like the color variation, the depth, the glazing, what happens when you leave a little white space. I mean, it's really good. It's really, really good. And like anything you can think of is in here from, you know, drums and monuments to cactus and daffodils, sunflowers, and even plants. This is a good one. Highly recommend. This is The Big Book of Watercolor by Mallerie Jane. I love this one. My next idea, and one that I really like, I've taken a couple of Terry Runyan's classes. Terry Runyan did something with Estee McLeod. You've probably heard me talk about Estee. I love her so much. Oh my gosh, I feel like even her name is just like a prophecy. So I've taken Estee's classes too, and I love her. She's very, very interesting. Well, they collaborated and I took the course, and Terry Runyan was one of the instructors in that course. So what I love about Terry's book is, I mean, come on, like let's do cats. Let's do cats like as hairdos, you know, let's add more embellishments. And what I love about Terry is like, that's about how I would draw a cat. You know, like it's more about enjoying the process, less about perfection. And it's just so whimsical and fun. Like, again, I'm a beginner and I kind of feel like I might be able to do this. And this book is awesome. Look at that. Look at, we're going to start, oops, sorry. We're going to start with blobs. I'm over here. Start with blobs. Add more blobs. Like, friends, we can do this. We can take a paintbrush and do this blobby thing. And then we can add more blobs and a stem. And then we add some leaves. Look at that. We can do this one. Like, look at this. These are the steps. So we've got this. And I think this is a great, great book. I love it. Terry Runyan, Painting Happiness. Highly recommend. Even the cover. Look at that. So cute. I love it. I actually think I bought mine used. Because this one, what is the copyright on this one? This one I think might be a little bit older. I am sure it's still available in the places where we get our books. I know I can't easily find the copyright date, but I was able to buy it online and I bought mine used. So that's a good one. All right. The next ones that I recommend, we're going to switch gears and we're going to step away from watercolor. And now I'm going to jump into my other goal for 2026, and that's doodling. I just want to doodle stuff. And I can't exactly answer why, but I am an active listener. So I'm a better listener when I'm doing something else. And I doodle. I doodle in the margin of my notebook. I just like it, and I just want to be able to do it. And sometimes I'm like, what should I draw? And I don't really know. And so I'm just looking for inspiration and ideas. So this one, Kawaii Doodle class, I got this at Five Below for $5 or something, I guess. And I am now so good. I'm so good at the cupcake. I've practiced and practiced the cupcake. I can do a cupcake. I can do the ice cream cone. I can do the mushroom. Like, it's step by step. I can do the French fries, and the hamburger. And you can see in this one that I've actually really practiced. But we're talking like you want to draw a fork, you want to draw a spoon. Like, it is so stinking cute. You want to draw like a whole bunch of little marshmallowy people. I love this thing. Now, hard to say if it's still at Five Below. Like, I don't really know how like they manage their inventory. But like, look at the rows. Like, we can even figure out how to do the rows. Love this thing. Kawaii Doodle class. So I would say, yeah, Five Below, it was $5. This is a great book. Or something, similar. If you can't find that one, and I do think if any of you shop at Five Below, I think they have a great section of really fun books. I've actually found a lot of stuff there. This is another one of my favorites. It's 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip. And this one I use and I practice a lot, not necessarily in the book, but when I am looking to make a flower, like a cone flower, for example. The idea is that you look to the reference photos over on the side, and then it gives you a place to practice. But I don't necessarily practice right inside the book. I practice like in a sketchbook or on some fun paper. But you can't tell which ones are mine and which ones are from the book. So it's lots of different vantage points, I would say, or like the way that you are looking at it. And like, look at this bleeding heart. Friends, we could all do this. Like, look at this one. We could all draw that. It's a heart with a leaf on a branch. And for me, sometimes I just need like the inspiration. Just like show me the black and white of how to do it, and I can probably take it from there. So this is one of the books that I bring with me in the car. This is in my go bag. So I bring this and a little sketchbook, 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip. And then this is what I do while driving because I just like knowing how to break them down one at a time. I love this book. This is by Lisa Congdon. I've had this one for a while and it's one of my favorites. I grab it all the time. Love, love, love. Okay. Also in the land of lettering, let's go actually botanicals. One more with botanicals. This one is called Botanical Line Drawing. Very similar to 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip, except, check it out, she goes with steps. So like, let's do honeysuckle. We're just going to make a swoosh, and then we're going to put some leaves on it, right? Add those leaves, and then we're going to do it on both sides. And then we're going to add lines in the leaves, and then voila, it's finished. So I really, really like this one because it breaks all of the botanicals down into these step-by-steps. So this is rattlebush, and then I just showed you honeysuckle. And look at cabbage. Love the cabbage. All of this is well within our control, friends. Like, we could definitely do this. So I love this book. Again, these two are always kind of in my go bag when I'm in the car. So 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip, love. And Botanical Line Drawing by Peggy Dean. Oh, sorry. I love this book. So these two in your go bag when you're in the car, long drive, and you just want to doodle or practice or do something easy, low risk, high reward. Love it. Love, love, love. I love this one. Even like, how do you want to get better at a rose? Again, step-by-step instructions for all of the steps along the way. This is how you do a geranium. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to show you this. It's opposite of what I think. A geranium. The calla lily. Look at the forget-me-not. I think we could even manage the forget-me-not. to the right, to the left. Anyway, I love this book. Peggy Dean, love. Highly recommend. Does anybody have that one? Yeah, Karen, I agree. I think that Zentangle books are fun too. They are super fun when you're traveling and when you want to do a little something in the car, or when you like want to make something but you don't necessarily know what to do or what to make. That's my go-to for doodling or sketching. Like I'm a builder, right? So I can build lots of things, but sometimes just getting started on what is easy for others, like doodling, I need a little bit of help. I need a little bit of guidance. Okay, so I'm going to switch now from botanicals to some other crafty fun and creative lettering. Creative lettering and line drawing. I have been obsessed with this for so long, and I'm a little embarrassed to say that I probably have 5 or so of these books in my collection. And one of the things that I think is going to happen is I think I'm going to buy the book and the information is going to jump from the book into my head. And so I just keep buying the books. But I have to now practice and learn it. Like, it's kind of like, we say that crafting is 2 separate hobbies, buying the supplies, using the supplies, or maybe even 3. Buying the supplies, using the supplies, and organizing the supplies, right? Like, it's 3 parts of a process. I feel that happens to me sometimes with resources. Like, I love getting the book, and then I don't sit down to practice. But this has been a stone in my shoe for so long that I feel like I ruin things with my handwriting. And I know that that is something that I'm really trying hard to get over. And I know I'm not alone. There are a lot of us who get that way. And I have great handwriting. I do. It's just I want it to look like the cover of this book, but I don't know how to do it. And again, I feel like it's a skill I should just have because I'm crafty and creative, but I don't. I don't have it because I don't practice. I just feel like it should jump inside my brain without any effort. So that changes. That changes here in 2026 because this book gives me practice lines. So let me show you. Look at it gives you the grid paper. So I don't have to have more resources. I can just use this book and I can practice. And so it's like you can even use like a Crayola marker because it has the right kind of point and nib. And you don't really need extra stuff. You can start all of this with the pens that we use all the time. And so I love the practice space. I love that the whole thing is just like, look at this. Talks about the strokes, how you go up and down, when you glide and you don't press. So this one, creative lettering and beyond, inspiring tips, techniques, and ideas for hand lettering your way to make beautiful works of art. Like that's exactly what I needed. So this one, I love it. This one is by Walter Foster. And the reason that I love it so much is it has the practice paper inside. And you can see I bought it, but I haven't done it yet. But look at this. Wouldn't you love to be able to make that? I believe this exists inside us. We just have to practice. So now tell me in the comments, friends, are you like me? Do you do this? Do you buy the book and then you expect it to jump from the book into your noggin because you bought the book? I don't believe I'm the only one. Like this must happen to other people. You're going to do me a solid and tell me I'm not alone. In the comments, please make me feel better. Okay, I'm going to switch away from that. And I'm now going to take you into some of my favorite oldies but goodies. Does anybody have this? The Happy Hooker from the Stitch and Bitch collection. Like there was one on knitting and then there's one on crochet. You can tell that I have referenced this book so many times. It is falling apart. It's got coffee marks on it. Like it's seen a lot of wear. I've made so many things from this book because they're small bites. They're kind of cute and trendy. And so like I've made a lot of things for my kids because my kids are all in their 20s. And so I've made this scarf about half a dozen times. It's kind of like a modified granny square flower. Look at this baby blanket. Like, just look at this. It's like a Neapolitan ice cream. I've made that one a couple of times. There are scarves in here I've made. This one, the sock monkey one. Look at this. Look at how darn cute that is. And it's just a little baby blanket in the colorway of a sock monkey. So I have loved this book. I have probably made 10 or 15 projects. I even made this purse. It's like a granny square purse. It's stinking cute. So if you are a crocheter, and I know a lot of you are, this one is an oldie but goodie. I swear I must have had this thing, oh gosh, 10 years, maybe 15. Let's just see. 2006. 2006. So that's 19 years. This is a good book. I love it. I love it so much. It's called The Happy Hooker. You could probably find this one used too if they don't make that one anymore. But I love that book. Another one that I love in the textile space, New School Macrame. So macrame in its traditional forms, there are lots of great resources, and I've got some books that I really love. This one is a standout to me because it is a different approach to macrame, and I love it. So they are using more of a grid pattern where it's the same kind of knot over and over again. And so let me see if I can get it over this way. Look at how stinking cute that is. So you use, it's almost like crochet corner to corner, that kind of idea, where you are able to make a design based off of one kind of knot. And it just looks so cute and so modern, and it's just a completely different take on macrame. And I think it's just, it's so fun. And I love it. So I have made the rainbow. So if I'm not explaining it very well, it's like there's a grid and you use the grid, and then in each one of your hanging working cords, you are making the same kind of double half hitch knot, so that you aren't making a traditional knot in the way that we think it, but you are making more of this like solid colorway. I've been so happy with this book, and I can't wait to make something else even more. And it teaches you how to do it too. So you can like go right to the grid pages, and you know that you are making the same knot over and over again. It also talks you through how to make your own pattern. So the next thing I would like to do is I'd like to, of course, make a raven or do Big Raven Farm, do the letters. It shows you too how to do the letters and the grids. Like, it's just awesome. It's just it's a breath of fresh air into a really cool craft of macrame. This one's called New School Macrame. It's by Terry Watson, and the projects that I've made so far, I have absolutely loved. So love that one. Okay, another one that I love, making handmade books. So you know that I love to make books, and I love to do Coptic stitch. I love to do a traditional binding. I love junk journals and traveler's notebooks. I love all of it. This book is 100 different kinds of bindings and how you get there. So maybe you want to make a pop-up book, or maybe you want to make a book where your stitches on the outside. So for example, this is a Coptic stitch binding, right? So I had to sew all of those in. I sewed in all of the pages individually, right? So that's kind of a big project. But what you can do is you can make patterns in your stitches instead. So I could have made a heart just by the way that I sewed in and added the template to my spine. So really fun, really creative ways. I don't know that I would say that this book is entirely beginner friendly. I think that you might want to have like some experience in bookmaking and bookbinding. And you can start with just easy paper books like a triangle and diamond book. And then, definitely work your way up. So it's got like beginner techniques. But I think for a person maybe just starting, this is a big bite. This feels to me like it's something for a more experienced bookbinder or someone who is really interested in it and wants to take it further. Now, to me, and no offense, even though I'm about to say something offensive. So you know how like there is like a rift sometimes between knitters and crocheters. Like, you know about this, right? Like, and I'll just use I statements. So I am a crocheter and I like to crochet because it's very forgiving. I can like tear something out and then go back and know where I am. It feels a little bit more like loose and creative. Knitting is harder for me because it just feels more precise and maybe a bit more rigid. I also have more experience crocheting, so maybe I am wrong. But what I was going to say is that in the bookbinding space, there are people like me who enjoy a lovely junk journal, right? The junkier it is on the outside, the more freedom we feel on the inside. We don't get too worried about precision. We just like it to be like crafty and messy and Now, there are other bookbinders who wear gloves and work in a space with no dust, and they get very, very precise about things because they are making like a museum quality book. Okay. I'm not your friend for that. Like, that's not the kind of book I enjoy making. But this book is kind of a bridge between those two things. Like, if you want to make a pop up book, cool. If you want to make an accordion book, awesome. Or if you want to get into some more traditional, formal ways of binding, this is the book. So I'm super, super glad I have it. It's by Alyssa Golden. It's a heck of a resource. I mean, like, no stone goes unturned. This is a really great book. So highly recommend. Might be a big of a bite for a beginner person, but still, I'm super, super glad that I have it in my arsenal. It's a great book. All right, this one I have talked about on the Craftcast before. I love this stinking book. Collage du Jour, and it is by Lucy Duclos. This book is great, and I have talked about like the ideas that I've got from this one many times. So just to remind you, this is the one where I encouraged people to make little cities from, I think it is 2 squares that you then cut into 4, and then you build arches and doors. I love this book. This is so great. Again, when you like want to make a little something, but you don't know what you want to make, Lucy does a super great job of encouraging you to use the positive and the negative space. She also encourages you to like doodle and add embellishments, do some mark making, go a little bit deeper. I love this book. And the thing is too, is like some of these techniques I've done before I even had this book, but I forgot. And so what I love is it's kind of some of the collage ideas, maybe that you do and you don't even realize that, someone's put it in a book, but it reminds you. It's a good reminder of like all of the possibilities. Or would you like to make a little bookshelf out of like paint chips and then like maybe do some plants out of book paper? This is a great book. I think it's maybe, I don't know, $16, can't remember. Lucy DeLucos. This is a 10 out of 10. I grab this thing all the time. I love it. Love, love, love that book. It's amazing. All right. I'm going to switch gears for a second. And I just want to talk a little bit about some other like creative resources for those of us who maybe want to get more in touch with our creative, like when you feel stuck, right? Or when you feel like you just need a little bit more oomph. The creative act A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. I've had so many friends recommend this book to me, and so I got it, and it's awesome, right? It's not a technique book. It's not a design or do this kind of book. It's a book that you're gonna read. And it's amazing. It's like, how would I describe it? Here's a passage. When is the work done? There is no formula or method for finding this answer. It's intuition. The work is done when you feel it's done. I would say that this book has been really validating for me as a creative and as an artist. Because you know how we talk about emotional IQ and your intellectual IQ? I also think there's something to be said about a creative IQ, in that you are willing to explore and dabble and question and ask. And this is a great book. I highly recommend. I understand now why it was recommended to me. It is just a way of being. And I'm sure, you've probably heard me say this like a million times, that like in all of the hats that I wear in my life as a mom, a wife, a business owner, an entrepreneur, like all of that, I wear my artist hat through all of it. I think I've learned to solve problems creatively. I think as an artist, when challenged, I kind of feel like there's ways to kind of deke and, this way and that way and figure things out. And this book by Rick Rubin is validating to that. I know you'll find inspiration when you pick this book up. It's good. It's good. So that one I recommend. And if you are other ideas for inspiration. So I don't know if you'll be able to find this book exactly. It's called A Friend Can Be, and it's by Cal Roy. The idea is that sometimes I come across children's picture books from the 70s and the 60s. And what I'm inspired by, this one's 1969, and what I'm inspired by is I'm inspired by the color and the use of negative space and the pattern. So sometimes I just keep children's books for inspiration for color palettes and collage ideas. And I just think it's awesome. Like look at this. Look at this. This is incredible, right? So I could definitely be inspired to do something in my art journal based on what I found in this book. So that's my idea, right? So if you are looking to do some fun gifts for the crafty people in your life, a vintage children's book that's illustrated like this, that's a good one. I know I would be really excited if this were under the tree for me. Like, I just feel like there are so many ideas. Look at her. Look at that. Isn't that great? Just by even having this book. So vintage children's books. This one specifically is called A Friend Can Be. And I got it out of the garbage. Yep, I definitely did. I got this one at the recycling center and it was off to the chop. And I jumped in that Gaylord. I sure did. And I grabbed it. Love that thing. Other ideas for the collagey, crafty people in your life. If you can get your hands on it, books in languages other than English. This one is in Russian, and I am sure it came from the same place as all my other stuff. I got it out of the recycling barrel. But in collage, how awesome, right? To have another typeface inside of your collage work. So alternative language collage fodder is my idea. Also, if you can get your hands on a vintage date book, the collage fodder inside of this, like, look at this. Look at this. I got this out of the garbage, of course. It's from 1979. Evelyn and Ruben stopped in for a while. Like, I just love it. I love it. Had coffee here this morning. Dean gave a half gallon of ice cream to me for my birthday. Milda was over for Sunday, got a card from Glenn. I mean, this is so precious, right? Now, the family didn't think it precious, right? So they put it in the garbage. There is no like identifying characteristics of who this belongs to. But I'm telling you, if you give a collage person in your life vintage date books as fodder, they will love you forever. Like, this is so fun and so exciting. Now, let's just take that one step further. I forgot to grab it. This is my most precious piece of collage fodder. My mom gave this to me, so you might need to talk to your parents, but okay, I'm going to get through this without crying. This is one of my dad's notebooks. And my dad was a very active doodler writer, just like me. And this particular book is about his bills and expenses in October of 1990. And he just was a prolific secretary and recording person. I don't even know what all of these numbers mean. I think this might be my parents maybe playing gin rummy. Maybe. It says, look at this. It says Terry the turd, Joe the honey. So my mom and dad are talking smack in their recording device for when they were playing gin rummy. Like, this is precious. And so I put this in my collages a lot. And I actually use it. Like, I don't even make copies of it. Like, I use it because, like, I have more than I would even be able to use in a lifetime. And sometimes I share it with people when they come to the farm. And that means you know I love you if I give you a little slip of my dad's handwriting. My parents, more smack talking. Look at this. Let me see if I can get it there. Terry the Great what? Asshole. Like, that's my mom's handwriting. And then my dad says, you bet. And then my dad calls her a chick shit. So in their gin rummy game or cribbage or whatever they were playing, you can tell the winning and losing was going back and forth. But if you can find this kind of stuff in your collection of great things, love. This just makes everything so precious. Kathy Baker has boxes of letters that your dad wrote to his father when he was in the Army and made copies for junk journals. Oh, definitely, Kathy. That seems way more precious than, you know, my dad recording his bills. And I'm so lucky that, like, this is just one of many. But I love using them in my collage work. I totally agree with you. All right. Another idea for the collage artist in your life or for yourself. Friends, if you can get your hands on one of these, a vintage Sears, JCPenney, Montgomery Ward, it doesn't really matter. If you can get your hands on a catalog, this is so fun, so amazing. A million different pieces of collage fodder. I got this one at an antique store for $1. Yes, I got super lucky. This one is Fall and Winter of 1966. It's not in great shape, but for what I do, it certainly does not need to be. But again, if you are curating a collage fodder gift for someone who's into collage, a vintage catalog, you will win and earn all kinds of points because this is juicy. This is definitely the good stuff. All right. Another idea for the maker in your life or for yourself. This one might sound crazy, but this is a tool, friends, that I use every single day in my work as an artist. I have a ginormous law journal, encyclopedia, whatever. And I use this to flatten my projects. I use it to put stuff on. I use it to smash stuff. Like, I put stuff in it and I step on it. And, I folded a lot of these into silos and drums, but I've held some back because they are so handy for a collage artist, because when we are using wet adhesive, our sides come up and things get crinkly. And so having a big, heavy book that you keep around for this particular reason is so stinking handy. I'm not even kidding you when I tell you I use this thing every single day. And I'm pretty sure I got this one at the recycling center. I just jumped in and I got it. So I mean, look at the size of this beast. It's amazing. Oh, look, there's something in there I forgot I put. Like I do it all the time. All right. I am now going to also, okay, so now let's talk about ideas for inspiration. So not necessarily, you can't necessarily, like, I don't know if you'd make this, but I think you would definitely be inspired by it. So this is Collage by Women, 50 Essential Contemporary Artists. So I love this book. This is let's just look at what some of the other ladies are doing and draw some inspiration. It doesn't give you like step by step. It isn't instructional at all. It's more inspirational. I would say a lot of the collages are going to land in the lane of absurdist collage, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like, I love a good absurdist collage for sure. But boy, are they creative. They're creative and inspiring. I mean, look at that. Look at that. That's amazing. And that certainly might be an idea that we want to try, like landscape in the background, person in the foreground. The thing, though, about some of these is some of these are a combination of analog, right, doing it by hand, and digital. And I always think that, like, digital kind of, I don't want to, it doesn't really help those of us who work in analog, right? So like, for example, like this, I'm pretty sure this is a digital collage. So what that means is in Photoshop or whatever, they were able to do the scale, right? They got the scale of the guy like going into this space or the guy going into this space. And so they're able to soften edges and blur where those two things come together. This is much harder to do in an analog kind of collage. Like, how do you find the right scale? Like, that's quite a lot of image harvesting. So sometimes I'm not as excited by digital collage because I don't do that. Like, I want to see how they do analog collage, because for me it's trickier. Digital collage would be tricky too because I don't do it, and I don't really want to learn it. Like, I don't want to be at a computer any more than I already am. But this is still a great book for inspiration. Again, this is Collage by Women. Rebecca Elzeg, Elizeg. It's a really great inspirational book. Along that same line, this is called Masters of Collage. You can tell by all of the flags in this one that this is one of my favorites. I love this book. And here, what I marked was, I love this idea of the positive and the negative in a word. So she used the word woman and just did it in black and white for contrast. Like, that's a cool idea. She did it on the other page with the word man, and pretty simple collages behind, but I really like that technique. This technique that I marked was about, again, the idea is that you take an element from one of your cuts and you use it in the other one. So you can see, like, she kind of gave him hair and cut out his eyes. And then in the next one, use that cutout to cover the eyes. So it's about symmetry, right? And balance. And that is a collage by Lynn Whipple. Another one that I have marked is this one. So these are like taking and making a face out of lots of different elements. So like the lips, the nose, the eyes, all kind of coming from somewhere else. They're kind of a little bit creepy, maybe a little unsettling, but they are used from magazine pages. I think as an exercise, that could be really fun. Like finding a large, maybe from like a Vogue or a Cosmopolitan or something, and then applying this technique where you take little chunks and you make it out of other fodder. How fun could that be? So I think in like a collage practice, or getting ideas for collage, this one is called Masters, Major Works by Leading Artists. So Masters of Collage. And this one is just curated by Lark Books. I've had this one forever, and you can see I draw on this one a lot. I really like that one. Another one that's one of my favorites is 500 Paper Objects by Jean McHugh. And Jean is a juror who studies and analyzes artwork. And so, like, look at this. I've had my eyes on this idea for so long. Now, have I made a zillion of these shapes for other projects? Yes. Have I ever considered putting it on a form? No, but I want to. Like, that's such a great idea. I love that so much. I've never done it. But this book, I think, is a combination of inspiration and then, like, what I love is the figuring out. Like, figuring out how they did this one. So this one is vintage record sleeves. And it looks like maybe just the middles. And then they got this really cool texture. So, and it's on, I believe, plywood. Yes, just put on plywood. So many things in here. Just, I love this book so much. This one, right? You've seen me perhaps make some shapes like this where I have folded them or cut them on my bandsaw. But here are some ideas too of how to maybe enclose them in wood, maybe have it look just a bit more finished. It's got like a museum quality to it. Or, look at that. I've made about a jillion of these, but the idea is that it is then, this is the cutout. This is the negative space of the book. It's probably hard to see, but like, this is a book. She went to her bandsaw, cut out this circle, and then the positive and the negative sit together. Oh, I love that. That's so great. So this is probably one of my favorite books, 500 Paper Objects. And you can tell by all of the markings on it that I refer to this one a lot. Again, inspiration for sure. Also, in the same category of inspiration, The Journey is the Destination, the journals of Dan Eldon. I've talked about this on the show before too. Dan Eldon's journals are very, very inspiring. And if you don't know the story about Dan, you should really like look him up and read more about him. It's a really sad story. And he was killed as a young man. I think he was 19 or 20. And after he died, his family found his journals and published them because they were just so extraordinary. And so I highly recommend the Dan Eldon collection of journals. Really good stuff. And then a couple of other thoughts. Back to gifts for collage makers. Anything from Collage Soup. Anything done by my friend Emily Stone. This collage fodder is vibrant and fabulous. I love it. I love it so much. No notes on anything from Collage Soup. You'll see that when I use it, I find it to be so precious that like whatever I didn't use, like the scraps, I put back in there so I don't lose them. So Flower Power by Collage Soup is one of my favorites. But I also have like vintage something, like she has a whole bunch of them. And you can find them either on her website or she's on Amazon, like she's everywhere. But I love, love, love Collage Soup. And I also love Harder's Picture Archive for collage and illustration. These are all black and white. And so what I like to do is I like to take a black and white focal point and I use a black and white focal point on a high color background. So I love the idea of putting together collage soup and black and white. I think you're like already half the way there when you use these high contrast elements. So collage soup flower power is one of my favorites. And then Harder's picture archive is another. All right, two more things to tell you about. This is in my go bag for the car. This is the Collage Ideas book, and it's little. It's a tiny little one. And again, it is ideas for all different kinds of collage, not just absurdist collage, but color blocking, focal point, portraiture, working in just one color. Like this idea even kind of reminds me a bit of what we found in Lucy's book, right? Just using egg shapes or circles and making a whole page of those. Absurdist collage, the heads of animals on the bodies of people. This is a great book. Working with negative space, just cutting stuff and gluing it down. I love this little book. I love it. Look at this idea. Look at this. Look at this. You guys, we could make this collage in a minute. So the idea here is that we're going to cut out our focal point and then turn it over and cut out its reverse. And so the reverse and the focal point, and then give it some colorful like rainbows on top and then prisms on the bottom. Like that's awesome. This one is by Nefalbita. And it's called Small Talk. And again, the Collage Ideas book is the name of this one. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. All right, last one. Again, back to the gift giving of people who do collage and the artsy fartsy people in your life. Have you guys seen this book? This was a gift to me from an art teacher, and it's called Sidewalk Cracks. And the idea is that you get a sidewalk crack and your job is to make something out of it, to practice and push your creativity. So there's no wrong way to do it. There's no guide. There are no directions. It is just making something from the cracks in the sidewalk. And it's hundreds and hundreds of sidewalk cracks. And you can see by the example, they made a beaked animal of some kind with a cute little patchwork. I love it. I love it. I loved getting this, and I hope the people that I'm giving it to will love receiving it. Okay, that was like a million books. What questions do you have for me if you are here with me live? And if you are listening later on iTunes, thank you for listening. I promise I will read the questions as they come forward. We'll give folks a chance to, Hannah sent one in. Thank you, Hannah. If someone wants to build a tiny creative library at home, what's the one book they think they should start with? So I think that depends upon their medium. If they are collage, crochet, macrame, lettering, like whatever. So I would say if it was a person who wanted to be more creative, I'd probably go with the Rick Rubin to start. Like, let's just be inspired to be creatives. Let's feel empowered in the fact that that's an amazing gift and skill, and embrace it. And how can you use it? And how can you identify with it? And how can you apply it? And how does it give you strength and purpose? I would go with that one. That's my answer there. Lauren, do I have a favorite crafty book that inspires me when I'm feeling stuck or uninspired? I love a pickup gift idea. I reach often, and I think that this one crosses over between, like, if you're not a collage person, if you're not a watercolor person, I think that these two books, the botanical line drawing and the 20 ways to draw a tulip, I think these check boxes for lots of people. They have practice pages inside. They're definitely grab and goes. And what I love about the steps, the 1, 2, 3, 4, is that it's like, Joleen, make a line. Okay. Now on that line, make a whole bunch of leaves. Okay. Now put a line through those leaves. Fabulous. You know, like I love the step-by-step nature. It helps unblock. And then you can take what you learned and put it all together and make a beautiful collage or a mosaic of all those things you've learned. So Botanical Line Drawing by Peggy Dean and 20 Ways to Draw a Tulip by Lisa Congdon. I would say those are really good. What is a fun and affordable book and little gift combo that I can give to my coworkers this holiday season? Well, if they're crafty friends, I would probably go with something like the Kawaii Doodle class from Five Below, and a little pack of markers, right? And by pack of markers, I mean like the kind that we all like and use. So I would say the fine liners, like a micron 1, like I would do, no, scratch. I would do a micron 4, 8, and maybe 10. Right, so there's a variety of line weight, and I think that with something like this, that is a easy, anybody can do it, low risk, just see if it's fun, but that's probably what I would do. And in this case, the pens are more expensive than the book, but that's probably what I would do. Okay. And thank you for that. Thank you so much, Lauren. And Katrina, what's a fun and affordable book? Oh, yeah, I did that one. Okay. And then Lauren's was crafty book when I am feeling stuck or uninspired. When I am feeling stuck and I want to make something, but I don't know what to make, I am always going to grab Lucy's. This collage du jour has been a favorite since I got it. And it just reminds me of some things I already know. And what I love is like Lucy in her directions is like, cut 2 triangles. Okay. And then, cut some shapes from those triangles. Like, all right. Like, I love that. I love like when the brain is on the fritz, like the more detail, the better. I love, love, love it. Is Lacy's book appropriate for a preteen? I think so, Paige, because on the inside work pages, I don't know if you can see it here, but it's sketched out. So you just got to hit the target. So you hit the target on the mountains. You hit the target on the, what are those things called? Starts with an H, hexagons. In another landscape. The kind of milkweed. Yeah, definitely. I definitely think she's done a great job making an all ages book. Some of the tutorial side might be a little advanced, but I think that the practice side, definitely all ages. All ages for sure. Great question, friends. All right. Oh my gosh. So some said I couldn't do it. I couldn't fill an hour talking about great books. I can. I totally can. All right. So let me see who is my next guest. What's going on? Oh, this is exciting. On December 3rd, Bo and Kara Lasowitz are going to be with me, and they are full-time artists from North Central Wisconsin. Their works highlight poetry, photography, painting, woodworking, and the everyday adventures behind their creative life. They started a YouTube channel to share their weekly work. They're proud workaholics and love creating art, caring for their home and farm, and most of all, working side by side in everything they do. Who does that sound like? Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to talk to them. So join me, please. Bo and Kara will be with me on December 3rd. Believe it or not, that's already next week. So, all right, friends, thank you so much for joining me on this edition of the Happy Time Craftcast. I love spending time with you. And I hope that you find all kinds of ways to be monumentally happy. All right. Thanks a lot, everybody. We'll see you next time.